7 days go by, and some Jews from Asia, line 27, Asia is Asia Minor, where he is doing all of the preaching that is spoken about earlier in Acts, saw him, stirred up the people, laid hands on him, cried out, "Men, Israelites, help! This is the man who teaches all everywhere against the people, against the law, and against this place." And now he has brought non-Jews, Greeks. It's like the Kaaba in Mecca. You're not allowed to bring non-Muslims into the temple and defile the holy place, because there are people who are in here who have not taken the law, and so on and so on. I'm not saying who's right or wrong in this argument. I just want to show you that there is a problem in the movement itself that we regularly don't hear about. So, and the problem has to do with the law and all things relating to the law. So back to our letter. So the letter says, let's go back here to Maccabees 2. May he open your hearts to the law and its ordinances and give you peace. When Demetrius was king in the year 169, we Jews wrote you as follows. Well, I don't know when Demetrius was king, but 169 is the Seleucid year. And I think Demetrius is king somewhere after Antiochus Epiphanes dies in Maccabees 1. And so we wrote you this way. In the desperate affliction that has come upon us in these years since Jason and his associates betrayed the Holy Land and the kingdom, they burned the temple gateway, shed innocent blood. Then we prayed to the Lord, and we were heard. We offered a sacrifice with wheat flour, kindled the lamps, set out loaves. And now we recommend you to keep the Feast of Tabernacles in the month of Kislev in the year 188. Again, there may be a footnote in your Bibles. I got 124 BC for that, I think. In any case, this is an actual letter they wrote to Egypt in 124 BC. Who would have kept this letter? The Egyptian Jews. It would have been in their records. Is it an authentic letter? I don't see anything wrong with it. It's nothing wild or frantic or beyond belief. I think it probably is. So now already we see that 2 Maccabees, or Maccabees 2, is more detailed than 1 Maccabees, and goes back earlier. That is, it goes into the infighting of what was going on before Mattathias supposedly led the uprising. So who's the priestly hero of 2 Maccabees if Mattathias is the priestly hero of 1 Maccabees? Huh? Onias. And he's called the saintly and righteous Onias. And he's from the previous high priest line. And he is at one point also called a zealot for the laws. Let me see if I can move along quickly through this so we can move along. The letter continues with a second letter, line 10. The people of Jerusalem and Judea, the Senate and Judas, to Aristobulus, tutor to King Ptolemy, and one of the families of the anointed priests, and to the Jews of Egypt, greetings and good health. Well, this is the second letter, this one written by Judas Maccabee himself. And he talks about what happened. Since God rescued us from great dangers, we give thanks for championing our cause against the king. So it's after he wins that stage of the struggle and purifies the temple. This kind of, plugs into Daniel to some extent. He goes on with some details, extremely details. Line 18. And we shall be celebrating the purification of the temple on the 25th of Kislev. We consider it proper to notify you so that you may celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles and of the fire that appeared when Nehemiah, the builder of the temple and the altar, offered sacrifice. When some years had elapsed in God's time, Nehemiah, commissioned by the king of Persia, sent descendants and priests who had hidden the fire to recover it. What's this? Raiders of the lost ark. The fire that had never gone out. This is, of course, what they believed. It's a mythological thing that had occurred back in Nehemiah's time. But notice here, I don't know if I mentioned last time, but if I didn't, if I did, it's worth repeating. I have grave doubts about Ezra. This book, for instance, is one of many books that does not either know of or mention an Ezra. You say, I don't even know who either of them are. Yeah, I know you don't, a lot of you. But they're biblical books. They're the last books. I've got to keep my finger in this thing here, so I'll put this thing in. They're the last books, really, historical books of the Bible. What are they called? The book of Ezra, the book of Nehemiah. But they overlap a lot. And it's not really clear, and they are pictured as doing similar or the same things. But what's Nehemiah's position in the Persian court? God, you're jumping around. Yeah, because I want you to understand these things. Let me see. What's Nehemiah's position in the Persian court, according to the books that we haven't read? Cupbearer. He's in the actual inner household of the Persian king. To be in the inner household of the Persian king, you have to be a eunuch. Why did you have to be a eunuch? Because the Persian king had a lot of women in his harem, maybe 100 wives or so, and they didn't trust any men around there who weren't suitably changed so that they were never going to have a suspicion attached to them of any kind. So Nehemiah would have had to have been a eunuch. Now, according to strict Jewish or Mosaic law, he would not be able to perform at the temple in any kind of authentic manner if he was in such a state of such kind of defects. You say, well, that's very horrible law. Well, I'm not judging whether the law is good or bad or horrible or strict or lenient, or I'm just telling you what it was. You see, well, Paul's right. Yeah.